Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Co-Parent Diaries. My name's Lucy and I am your host. It's been a couple of weeks again. Do you know what? The one thing I thought I would be really good at was being consistent with this podcast because I have so much to say. And then I forget that life is life and life happens, and sometimes you just don't need to put that pressure on yourself. So today's episode, I want to talk about feeling everything but feeling nothing. Just that feeling of numbness. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this, especially parents, especially parents with ADHD where they feel a bit overloaded, but again also parents who are separated. It is like, I don't know how many weeks till Christmas now, like 6 weeks till Christmas, 5 weeks till Christmas, whatever. Might even be 4, I don't know. We're coming up to the end of the school holidays. It's coming up to summer here in Australia. It's starting to get hot. Christmas is coming, and it's just, there's so much going on in my brain that it's almost like when my brain gets to capacity, there's no space for anything. And that's joy and sadness. I feel like when I get to and I always imagine in my head of this liquid in my body, and that's the stuff, right? And when it gets to capacity here, I have no space for anything else. There's no space. My car could roll out of the garage right now and smash into the house opposite, and I'd just be like, oof, I haven't got the space to deal with it. And it's a place that I find myself fairly often. And I used to worry about it. Now I'm just in a space of you know what? This is part of me protecting myself. This is part of me dealing with grief, dealing with life, dealing with everything that is going on. And it's very, very much a protective state, a form of protection for yourself. It's almost like my brain is going, yep, you're at capacity. Whatever else happens in your life right now, you're not dealing with it. It's okay. Just disassociate. Nothing happened. You're not dealing with it. What I need to do is leak some of this stuff out before I can put more in. And sometimes I'm just in a space where I can't leak anything out. I can't let any of the stuff out that's currently consuming me because it's not a safe time. It's not a safe space to do that. It's not a good time. Now, it's changeover day today. I have had the kids for the week. Very much those weeks, I don't have capacity to deal with stuff, especially anything around grief, stress, work. Because I 50-50 co-parent, I feel, my weeks when I've got the kids, that I am everything to them. They get 100% of me. I don't have time to deal with my stuff because guess what? You've got a whole week loose where you can just deal with your stuff when the kids aren't around. So you can just park it. And is that a good thing? I don't know. Is that the right thing to do? I don't know. But it's what I do. I haven't even been showing up on TikTok as much as I usually do because I don't feel very authentic. I don't feel very hey guys, let me talk about stuff, because there's nothing to talk about. The stuff that I talk about is so boring. This episode is probably also boring, but hey ho, we're here now. Some people might listen, some people might not. But TikTok was one of my things that I really wanted to build up. I really wanted to, I've had some months where I've earned $1,000 from TikTok because my videos have had so many views. Last month I earned $60. And I'm whoa, okay, I need to put some more effort into this. But at the same time, I'm where is my effort going? Do you just need a timeout? I feel like I've had quite a few timeouts this year, but maybe I need more. Maybe I need more timeouts to grieve and process life. So much has happened this year. So much. Especially going from freelance to full-time work right at the start of the year, at the same time as I went from being the majority carer for the kids to being 50-50. Huge shifts that I just brushed off. I was yeah, that's life. It is what it is. No, actually, that's 2 massive shifts, 2 massive changes in my life. All of a sudden, I've been given this, like, I don't know, freedom and flexibility by having the kids 50% of the time. But then my freedom and flexibility with work has been taken off me because now I work like a 9-to-5 job. And so it's like battling the two. And then I'm trying to juggle sort of the structure of work around the structure of co-parenting, which that structure goes all over the place a lot of the time. And I think we're still figuring some stuff out. I think we're finally, I mean, we would be coming up to a year 50-50 co-parenting in January. And I think we've finally found our flow, which is great. It definitely doesn't get any easier not having the kids, I don't think. Like today, I know I can feel it, you know, when you've got one of those little headaches, and it's one of those ones because you want to cry and you want to let out loads of emotion, but you're keeping it in. Like it's one of those headaches right here behind your eyes. I've got that. I do feel some grief around saying goodbye to the kids this morning, especially Bella with her hand, but also just Parker's been very difficult this week, but difficult because I'm at capacity. Normal me would have not found it difficult at all. She's just looking for attention because Bella's getting a lot of attention. She's being very cheeky. She knows what she's doing. She knows she's being a bit of a menace. And she's been very loud. She is one of those kids that is like a radio station. She will just sing loudly for no, like without warning. And the house is not that big. And for me, my trigger is noise. I can deal with mess. I can deal with flashy lights, you know, smells, whatever. Noise, can't handle it. It gets a bit too much for me in the house. Not that everything has to be silent, but can we just be at like a normal level speaking? And can everyone just stop shouting mum 24/7? Maybe that's like a nervous system regulation thing. Maybe because my nervous system is still a bit shot to pieces. I just don't feel like regulated and chilled. I don't know. But yeah, I guess I want to wrap this up. I would say if you're feeling numb, it's where you don't experience joy or sadness. You're just like at this baseline, like meh. You know, I would call it meh. I'm meh constantly. Meh. And if you feel that, it is a form of protection. It's a form of your brain trying to protect yourself from anything that might come along. Unfortunately, it also protects you from joy, which you want to take in joy, but it's trying to also protect you from sadness or pain. Something that I have sort of had a chat to myself about today is I need to start offloading some of this stuff that's in my body and in my brain so I can empty it, so I have the space to deal with pain and joy, because you can't deal with one without the other. Like they sort of come hand in hand. And what I want to then do is when I'm experiencing the joy, to really be present, to really stop, slow down, not pick up my phone, not do anything, and just try and absorb the moment as much as possible, because I don't know if my body knows how to embrace joy as much as I would like it to, because it has endured so much pain over the last few years. I just want to experience joy, but I don't have the capacity to experience it because I'm full. So also maybe I need to let some grief out. Maybe there's some stuff going on right now that I need to let out in order to feel this stuff, right? But also there's some grief that I need to process that I can't even process because there's no space. And in order for me to feel joy and experience that, I also need to do some of the pain and some of the grief that I still haven't, I guess, processed. And I need space to put that in my brain and work through it. And how I like to like mentally picture the grief stuff is like, imagine like a picky pad. Do you know what a picky pad is? It's one of those silicone pads with beads in and you pick out of it. So I imagine like my grief as like a penny-sized picky pad. And that penny-sized picky pad has been like put in the slot in my head. And what I need to do is just pick the beads out one by one. And once I've picked it out, the picky pad just disappears. Like it dissolves and it comes out. That's how I mentally think about grief. So in order for me to and I've got loads of these little penny picky pads like in a pile, right? Because I just look at it and go, I'm not dealing with that. I haven't got the capacity to deal with some of that shit right now. But you have to. You can't avoid dealing with it. The more you avoid it, the less you heal from it, the less you deal with it, the more anxious you get, etc., etc. So I need to get one of these picky pads and I need to put it in that slot in my head and I need to start unpicking it and I need to start dealing with it. But in order for me to do that, I've got to process some of the stuff that's already in my head, whether that's pain, stress, just life. Maybe it's just I need a nap. Who knows? I don't know, but I just need to start emptying this brain of things, right? And the only way to do that is to just stop and slow down and just be very purposeful and be very meaningful. No, not meaningful. Very mindful of when you're doing stuff. For me, I struggle to find the time to process stuff because there's people around me all the time. Right now, I finish work at 12. And on a Friday, I'd get the kids back at 3. And it's like I've got a 3-hour window a week to deal with my grief, which is definitely not enough time to deal with anything. Because I also need to record a podcast. I also need to catch up with some work. I also need to make some lunch. I need to do the food shop. Sometimes I need to get the nails done. I don't allocate enough time to deal with some stuff. I don't allocate enough alone time to deal with some stuff. And that's, again, probably a big thing. But here's some signs that I've realised that mean I am healing. And even though I feel numb right now, I'm handling stuff a lot better than I used to. So for example, I used to spiral about the smallest things. I used to storytell in my head about certain situations, certain things, and it would consume me for days. Now it consumes me maybe for an hour and then I'm over it and we move on. One of the biggest things that I've noticed is my anxiety is not really as present as it used to be. I have very much more it is what it is sort of attitude. And I actually watched a TikTok yesterday. I've saved it. And it was one of the guys from the Rizzle Kicks talking about how anxiety is sort of like you not being able to process certain situations and certain feelings. And once you get to process it and you work out the feeling and you make that connection, that doesn't make you anxious anymore. And I think what I've done this year is really tried to just work out, what is that making me feel? Where do I feel that in my body? And what am I going to do about that? And how am I going to reframe that? So I think like where my anxiety is and all these things would happen, I think I've managed to like go, oh, that thing is going to go and attach to this feeling. So now the feeling is this. It's not anxiousness, it's this. And I think that was really important. I'll try and find it and I'll tag it in the show notes so you can watch it, because I think it was a really good explanation. I think one of the other things is that I can still function fairly well even when I feel like this. Not a lot of people know that I feel numb or disassociate or whatever, and the kids aren't bouncing off that energy as much as they used to. Like I think my energy used to leak out a lot into the house, and then the kids would pick up on it and they would feel how they feel. They would be irritated or whatever they would feel, and they don't feel that so much anymore. So I think that again is like, from an energetics side, is like I'm processing things maybe faster or better than I used to, and being able to hold my energy and not leak it onto others. Some things that I am going to try and do this week on my kid-free week is going for some more walks. The last 3 weeks I have not done my daily walk, pretty much since I had my teeth out. Haven't done my daily walk. It's awful. There is no excuse apart from the fact I'm like, it's too hot. Is pretty much what I've been saying. Going for my walks, getting exercise, moving your body gets that energy out. So that's one thing definitely I'm doing. Journaling, I need to get back into. I find writing very therapeutic, but I also need that sacred space to journal. I like it when it's quiet. I've got my journal out, I'm writing. I like being outside when I do that. So it's, I think, getting my space out the back, in the back garden, where I can just sit and journal. Again, getting all my thoughts out, because do you know, sometimes when I've got things in my head, I don't want to talk to anyone about it. Not because like I don't want them to judge me or anything. I don't like to bother people with my problems all the time. And excuse me, sometimes I'm just like, I know this thought is really crazy. I just need to work it out, and then I just need to get it in my book, and then off I go. So journaling is another one I definitely need to do. My therapist sent me a Spotify list of it's like drumming music. It's really interesting. It's like tribal music. And I played that the other day when I was in the house by myself, and I found that really therapeutic. So doing that, I mean, when I don't have the kids, I can get up at 5 a.m. and do that because it's not going to bother anybody. I can't really do that when I've got the kids, because they'll be like waking up thinking, what the hell is going on with mum? I mean, I could, I guess, wear headphones. That would probably work too. Decluttering the house is also something that I really find therapeutic, especially this time of the year. I have actually just moved my bedroom around, which is where I'm filming today. My bed used to be up against the wall, and it was like that because I had my office in the bedroom. Now I've taken my office out the bedroom, I've put it into the theatre room, and I actually feel so much better. I feel so much calmer in this room. I feel very relaxed. That's why I'm filming in it today. Once I finish filming, I think I'm just probably lay on my bed and just read or journal, and I'll feel so much better. So again, creating more of a safe space, I think, is good too. Or a safe, peaceful space. And then I think this week is just letting these emotions come out when they need to come out, not pushing them down and go, I'll deal with this later. If it's got to come out in the car, it's coming out in the car. If it's got to come out at 9 o'clock in the morning, it comes out at 9 o'clock in the morning. As long as it doesn't come out on my work call, we're all good. But the rest of the time, just deal with it, let it out, process it, and move on. So that's me. That's what's going on. That's the stuff this week. Again, I don't know if I'm starting to think are these episodes going to help anyone, or is this literally just a form of therapy for me? Who knows? But if you have listened, please chuck a comment. I'd really appreciate it. Or send me a message and let me know. Feedback is great, bad and good. Anyway, have a beautiful week, and I'll catch you next week.